Nick here from Tabletop Duo, and today we have some Dark Souls the board game content with the unboxing and review of Vordt of the Boreal Valley. And not only that, but the next few videos we're also going to be doing the review and unboxing of the Gaping Dragon and the Last Giant. But for that, we would like to send a special thanks to Ondra, one of our viewers who gifted us this amazing expansion. So thanks a lot, man. And I hope you like the videos and also the painting tutorials that Mariana will be doing at some point. We will start with the unboxing, and then we're gonna go through a review where we're gonna go through the setup, the strengths and weaknesses of the boss, the types of cards, the sleeves you can use to protect, and much more. So let's start with the unboxing. Alright, so first let's start by removing the shrink wrap. On the front cover we have a concept art of Vordt. On the sides we also have one, but more vertical. And in the back we have a picture with all the components, and this expansion comes with the Vordt of the Boreal Valley Miniature, the health dial, data, movement behavior and heat up cards, standard attack cards, heat up cards, Frostbreath behavior card, 2 new treasures, 4 level 4 encounter cards, the Mega Boss game board, and 1 rules insert. Alright, so let's open it up. So the first thing we see is the rules insert. Then we have the Mega Boss board. On one side you have the board for the boss battle, and on the other side you have the board for the level 4 encounter. Then we have the health dial, and Vordt starts at 42 health points. That's a lot. You also have the rivets here, and that's the assembled dial. Next, we will be checking together the deck for the behaviors, also the boss data card, and so on. So here you have the boss data card. Comes in all the languages that the previous expansions come with. So you have English, German, Spanish, French, and Italian. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 regular behavior cards. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 heat up cards. You have the Frostbreath, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 level 4 encounter cards. I believe 2 of them are just for the basic expansion, so you don't need to have any other expansions, and then they add 1 if you have the Explorers expansion, and 1 for Iron Keep, so you can fight Iron Keep dudes. Next comes the second pack of cards, which comes with the treasures. We have Vordt's Great Hammer, Pontiff's Left Eye, and then you have the Pontiff's Left Eye in all the other 4 languages. And finally we have the miniature. And this is the miniature. It's quite big, has a large base, it's very detailed, looks just like in the game, and it comes fully assembled, so you don't need to add any pieces to it. Alright, so to start the review, let's talk a little bit about the boss stats. So the boss has 42 health points, and its unique ability is called Icy Blows. The effect is that if a player blocks or resists 4 or more damage, they will suffer frostbite. And not only the boss has a lot of health, but it also has 2 heat up thresholds, and the way you create the behavior deck is slightly different from the other bosses we have seen so far. And before I continue, if you are enjoying the video, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, as we have a lot of Dark Souls and other board game content, and we also do some how to play videos of your favorite board games. This boss has 2 behavior type cards, the first being the movement and the second being the attack cards. So when you are doing the setup, you're gonna take the regular movement behavior cards represented by this symbol, and then you will shuffle them. Then you take 4 of them randomly, and you place them face down near the stats card. Then you look for the basic attack behavior cards and you shuffle them, and then you randomly pick 3 of them and you place them face down below the movement deck. That's how we do here, at least, okay? Then you take the Frostbite card and you place it face down on a second column next to the other behavior decks. Every turn the boss attacks, you start by flipping a movement card first. Then you perform the behavior, then you flip the attack card and you also perform its behavior. The movement cards will usually try to push your characters, and most of those pushes do between 5 and 6 damage. The closest character is usually the target of the push, so you want to make sure that the healer is a little bit far from the combat. All the movement cards have a dodge difficulty of 1, which means that dodging is highly favored in this combat. You can also tank the damage, but because the boss's unique ability and the amount of hits you may take, I would say be careful. The attack cards will usually deal between 5 to 6 damage, sometimes physical, sometimes magical, and aim at characters on the front, right, and left nodes, as well as the nearest characters within one node. Another interesting element about this fight is that because you have 4 movement and 3 attack cards, once you go through the first 3 boss attacks, then it will become harder to memorize the behaviors because you won't get the same movement and attack playing together, because the attack deck needs to be flipped over before the movement deck. Then once you reach the first hit up point on the health dial, then 2 things happen. So the first thing is you take the 2 hit up attack cards, you shuffle them, pick 1, and then you shuffle it on the attack deck before you execute any behaviors. Then you flip the Frostbite card and you resolve it. Then you proceed like the other round, so you turn the movement card and then the attack card. So this means that on every hit up, the boss will be performing 3 different cards, and it's gonna be super dangerous depending on where you are. Now once you achieve the second hit up, then you will take one of the 2 hit up movement cards, shuffle them, pick 1, and then again you're gonna put it in the deck, perform the Frostbite, and then play the movement and the attack cards. This boss is very dangerous in close range, as you can see, and because it's always repositioning itself, it's hard to predict like where it's gonna be. And on top of that, if you get hit by an attack and you resist the boss damage, you get the Frostbite token, and now that means you have to spend 1 more stamina in order to move or run. So like definitely during the fight, stamina management is gonna be super important. Now, besides the boss battle, you also get 4 level 4 encounter cards, and if you don't know what a level 4 encounter means, the level 4 is played on the other side of the board, and it's a way harder version of a level 3, where you're going to be facing more enemies and on a larger board. And these fights, they are played before you engage a mega boss. So you play it and then you play the mega boss. Now for the treasures. So you have 2 of them. Vordt's Great Hammer, which is a 2-handed mace that requires stamina to attack, and it deals 3 to 4 blue dice damage, depending on how much stamina you spend. And it also applies Frostbite to targets, but it's not very good at blocking physical damage. It has just 1 black die. The second one is the Pontiff's Left Eye. So at the end of the character's activation, if you have done 2 or more attacks, then you gain 1 health. I'm particularly not very fond of these treasures, as I think there are better ones on other expansions and other mega bosses we have shown you before. Oh, and before I forget, people always ask me about like the card sleeves for Dark Souls and the ones we use for most of our games, and they are from the Mayday Games brand. That's just our personal choice, like we don't get any money from them or anything. But for the large cards, we use sleeve size 63.5 by 88. And for the small cards, the treasure, for example, you could use 41 by 63. So to finish the review, I would like to say I was really surprised by the expansion. I initially one of the reasons we didn't get it is because I thought this boss was not going to be very interesting in terms of behaviors it provides to the game, but then as we played, I really liked it. There are certain more interesting mega bosses than this one, but the fact that it effectively attacks with 2 cards every round and it moves a lot makes the fight always unique and challenging to your group. So that's it for today's review. So let me know what your thoughts are about the boss, and stay tuned for the Last Giant and the Gaping Dragon unboxing and review videos. So thanks again, Ondra, and thanks you guys. See you next time. Bye.